Foreman's KO Boxing for Game Boy. Well, I love his grill, so why not? So this is George Foreman's KO Boxing for Nintendo Game Boy. There isn't much to say besides, if you want a really bad Punch-Out clone on Game Boy starring George Foreman, give this a shot. God, this game is ass. There has to be something here. Ooh, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic for the original Xbox. I'm a huge Star Wars fan and I've heard great things about this game, so let's try it out. Okay, I've been waiting to knock this one off my bucket list. Let's finally do it. What?
So, it turns out you can only play original Xbox games on an Xbox 360 if you have an official Microsoft hard drive. Damn it. Well, maybe I can use this wonderful internet to find something to talk about. I wonder if it's any game's anniversary. Wait. Holy sh!
Good old Mario. I've taken a look at a handful of his adventures over the last few years, and they've all been fantastic games, besides New Super Mario 64. Today is the 5-year anniversary of Mario's most recent major 3D adventure, so let's take a fat old look at this bad boy. But before we do so, a brief history of the man himself. Mario's first appearance came in Donkey Kong, an arcade game created by Shigeru Miyamoto. In it, you played as Jumpman, who would later be named Mario, as you saved your girlfriend, who would later become Pauline, from Donkey Kong, who would later become the CEO of Sex. After a couple more Donkey Kong games, Mario finally got his own game, Mario Bros, where they introduced his brother Luigi. After plumbing out crabs and spiky shells from the sewers as Mario did, Mario had a true adventure in Super Mario Bros, released as a launch title for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Super Mario Bros was a 2D platformer with a definitive ending, which was unlike any of his prior games, and it was a huge success. Granted, it was bundled with the NES, but still, Mario became a sensation. So it was followed up with 2 more games on the NES, Super Mario Bros 2 and 3. The American version of 2 is of course a different game with Mario sprites, everyone and their mom knows that. And Super Mario Bros 3 truly evolved Super Mario Bros, introducing iconic staples of the series and just overall being a fantastic game. And with the introduction of the Super Nintendo came Super Mario World, an evolution of Super Mario Bros 3. This is definitely my favorite 2D Mario game. Everything from the graphics, to the controls, to the level design, to the music is just so perfect to me. It's so colorful and fun, and I can't believe a game this good is 31 years old. And during the Super Nintendo era, Mario spin-offs started to take off. Mario Kart, Mario RPG, Mario Paint, Yoshi, and this would continue during the Nintendo 64 era with Paper Mario, Mario Sports, Super Smash Bros, Mario Party, and more. But I'm primarily focusing on Mario's mainline adventures here, and with the Nintendo 64 came his debatably most important, Super Mario 64. Regardless of my love-hate relationship with this game, I can't deny the effect it had on the video game industry. It may suffer for being an early 3D game and being on the Nintendo 64, but when the game is good, it is really good. Following 64 was Sunshine, building off of 64's foundation and being just a lot better in my opinion. With better controls, graphics, level design, and difficulty along with a much more interesting theme, I adore Sunshine. In 2004, Nintendo released a Nintendo DS, and in 2006, it revived the dead 2D Mario games with New Super Mario Bros. NSMB, which is what I'll refer to the series for short, was a good game, especially for the DS. It was a good companion title, a simple Mario game, since the next one would be the most radically different one yet. Super Mario Galaxy sent Mario to space. Again, my mixed opinions aside, this was an incredible next step for Mario, and seeing his growth with each generation is insane. Both Super Mario Galaxy and NSMB got follow-ups, Super Mario Galaxy 2 and New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Not huge steps forward for Mario, but still quality games. And the quality would keep coming, as in 2011 for the Nintendo 3DS came Super Mario 3D Land. Sure, this wasn't a big leap forward for Mario as a whole, but for his handheld adventures, compared to New Super Mario Bros., this was quite the step up. But then in 2013, the Wii U got its big new Mario experience, Super Mario 3D World. Now, 3D World is a fantastic game, one of my favorite Mario titles in general. But man, it's definitely a step down from Galaxy. And after 3D World, the Super Mario series went dormant for a while, until a certain fateful day in 2016. On October 20th, 2016, Nintendo unveiled their next console, the Nintendo Switch. And in the reveal video, they showed brief gameplay of a new 3D Mario game, and it would be officially revealed during the Nintendo Switch presentation on January 13th, 2017. Super Mario Odyssey would be a new 3D Mario game most akin to 64 and Sunshine, exploring non-linear worlds, collecting a bunch of collectibles. Over the next few months, it of course got its usual marketing, and it saw its release 5 years ago today, on October 27th, 2017. At launch, the game received critical and commercial success, getting a rating of 97 on Metacritic and selling nearly 24 million copies since launch, making it one of the highest rated games of all time and one of the best selling games on the Nintendo Switch. After some shaky years for Mario, Odyssey came through and brought back the Super Mario series creativity, innovation, and excellence. In those last 5 years, we've only gotten a bite of more 3D Mario excellence with Bowser's Fury, but knowing how Nintendo likes money, soon enough we'll get a follow-up to Odyssey that shows just as much love and excellence.
But now, let's talk about the game.
First off, the name is absolutely perfect. The best way to describe Odyssey is, well, an odyssey. Mario travels across the whole entire world exploring so many unique, diverse areas. The story shakes things up a bit from the typical Mario formula. We start above Peach's castle with an amazing cutscene. Like usual, Bowser kidnaps Peach.
Well, la-di f***ing da.
But this time he intends on marrying her. Mario tries to stop him, but is knocked off of Bowser's airship by Bowser's hat. And Bowser knocks off Mario's hat, which then gets shredded. Mario wakes up in Cap Kingdom and chases after a citizen called Cappy. Mario catches up with Cappy, who tells him that Bowser attacked Cap Kingdom and took Cappy's sister, Tiara. And so since Bowser has Cappy's sister and Mario's Peach, they team up to stop Bowser. And so, they travel across the world, trying to catch up for Bowser, who is stealing something from each kingdom for his wedding. In the second area of the game, Fossil Falls, Mario and Cappy come across the Odyssey, an airship that can be used to chase after Bowser. However, the Odyssey needs power moons in order to get to each kingdom, and that's the core of the game, collecting power moons. When you arrive in each kingdom, you have a total number of power moons you have to collect. You can get a good few by following the story mission in the kingdom, but there are also moons spread everywhere, behind puzzles, platforming challenges, whatever. They're the main collectible, and when you collect one, you're hit with a...
That felt good.
So yeah, that's the story. Mario goes through each kingdom, collects moons, and stops Bowser.
I do want to talk about each kingdom, but first, I just have to talk about Mario's controls.
Mario in Odyssey is unbelievable. I can't believe how good he controls. He feels so damn smooth, and it just feels like you have so much control over him. All those moves from 64 are here. The triple jump, the ground pound, the dive, the backflip, the long jump, all are here and feel so good. It feels like a true evolution of 3D Mario controls. I found that Sunshine improved on 64, but I felt Galaxy was a massive step back, as he felt a lot more restricted. Sure, he still had the signature moves, but I don't know, I think it has to do with Galaxy's linearity, but Mario has always felt quite clunky and not fun to control in that game. And in 3D Land and World, he was again fine, but was ultimately restricted to moving in 12 directions in 3D Land and 8 in 3D World. In the Switch port of 3D World, they added back in some of Mario's iconic 3D moves like the dive, but he still felt pretty restricted, which was fine, but man, Odyssey Mario feels fantastic. As smooth as butter. Sometimes I pop in this game just to run around because it feels so good. And sometimes Mario's movement will also be affected by his environment. If he's running down a hill, he'll speed up and spread his arms. On the moon, he jumps higher due to the moon's lower gravitational pull. Details like this is the cherry on top of this amazing sundae. And then there's Cappy, who is a lot like Flood from Sunshine, a companion who helps with platforming. You can throw Cappy and from there bounce off Cappy, break some objects, activate switches, and Cappy's most important function, capturing. Throw Cappy at multiple things and you'll gain control of it and be able to play as it, which its abilities can help solve puzzles. You can stack Goombas to reach higher places. Goombas have high jumps, which when combined with some more tricks can help you reach higher places. Cheep Cheeps can swim underwater and never have to worry about air. These stone things that look like Moai can see invisible platforms. Wigglers can extend and help reach harder reach places. Even Bullet Bills, which can travel fast and blow things up. Wanna play as a frog? There you go. Oh no, a dinosaur. Oh, it's fine. This boss's fists? You are the hand. How about a fucking tree? Oh my goodness. Sure, not all the captures have amazing abilities. Some only serve a purpose for a single moon or help you get a good look at a kingdom or are just a rock. But there are 54 captures in total, which is a lot. There are plenty of great captures and it adds so much damn variety to the game. You play as more than Mario. You play as Goombas, Koopas, Fireballs, Cheep Cheeps, Bullet Bills, Onions. How about Bowser? In the climax of the game, you capture Bowser and for the first time ever, you get to play as him. It's so damn fun. You can easily destroy rocks and shoot fire. That's kind of it, but man, it's so fun and such a great climax to the game.
But before you can play as Bowser, you have to play through the actual game first, so I'm going to be talking about each and every kingdom. Now keep in mind, you can pretty much skip the story for almost every kingdom, as you just need a certain amount of moons to move on. However, I will be talking about the story in each kingdom if you were to follow the actual intended story events, just because that is the intended story of the game. So let's begin.
After being knocked off Bowser's airship, Mario lands in Cap Kingdom where he meets Cappy. Cappy explains that Bowser attacked Cap Kingdom to steal his sister Tiara for his wedding. Cap Kingdom is quite small. It's just meant to be an introductory kingdom, but it's still quite nice. It's got a noir Tim Burton-esque color palette. How fun. You climb this tower with a hat on top of it and run into the Broodals, rabbits that work for Bowser. They're original creations for Odyssey and are definitely better than overused Koopalings. Here you fight Topper. He has a stack of hats and you use Cappy to knock all the hats off. He has an attack where he falls on his side then spins around, so you want to knock as many hats off of him as you can so he has a shorter range. The one lame thing about the Broodals is how you damage them is the same way for all of them. Just jump on top of their head, the same with most other Mario bosses. But what you do to lower their defenses is unique and interesting, so there are at least some points for that. After defeating Topper, you take an electrical line to the next kingdom, and that's it for Cap Kingdom. It's quite small, but it's pretty enjoyable. I will say, for a first level, it's a lot more interesting than other Mario games' first levels since its theme is so unique. Mario then lands in Fossil Falls, and things truly get going. This is definitely the most generic level in the game because it's grass and hills, but I say generic with very heavy quotes, because it's still quite interesting. It centers around a giant waterfall. I didn't see that coming for a kingdom called Fossil Falls, and atop the waterfall is a fossil. I didn't see that coming for a kingdom called Fossil Falls. It's got a prehistoric theme, and the fact that the basic grassy level has an interesting theme should really speak towards Odyssey's quality. This is also where you can first find the T-Rex that can be captured. I love a bomb battlefield, but man, you don't get much better than playing as a dinosaur. Bowser didn't target Fossil Falls, so instead the story here is about the Odyssey. After using a chain chomp to knock down this bridge, you come across the Odyssey stuck in a wall. As I said earlier, the Odyssey works off of the power of the Power Moons, and thus you need a certain amount from each kingdom to power up the Odyssey. So you head up and around the falls in this 2D section, which is another really cool thing about Odyssey. It has a ton of 2D sections themed after Super Mario Bros. You enter the 2D sections through these blocky warp pipes, and these are just really neat sections. Anyways, atop the fall you run into Madame Brood, the manager of the Broodals. She has some pet golden chain chomps and some moons around her neck, so you know what that means.
Unnecessary violence!
To defeat Madame Brood, you capture one of her chain chomps and slam it back into her face. A pretty fun fight that makes good use of the capture mechanic. Besides the story, Fossil's moons are quite fun. There are too many moons to talk about them all, but all in all, they're cool. But there also isn't much to most of them, so it's hard to say a lot about them. Anyways, once you have enough moons, you can move on to the next kingdom, Sand Kingdom. Sand Kingdom is Odyssey's desert stage, and like Cascade, it also finds a way to stand out. The sand is red. Sand Kingdom is also known as Tostarano, with a small town not far from the Odyssey. I love the town. The buildings have amazing looking designs and colors, as it's heavily inspired by Mexican culture, which I love. The Tostaranans are also inspired by Mexican culture, with sombreros and maracas and even skulls inspired by Day of the Dead. And the music, it's just amazing. For the story, the kingdom has been frozen over, so you make your way through the ruins and eventually go to the inverted pyramid. Here you go through a really fun 2D section with wonky gravity, and atop the pyramid you fight another Broodal, Harriet. She throws bombs at you and you have to hit them back then stomp on her head. Again, simple but fun. After defeating Harriet, you're sent back to the Odyssey and now have to make your way back to where the inverted pyramid was. The kingdom is no longer frozen over and the inverted pyramid is now in the sky, so head to where the pyramid was. There's now a hole in the ground. And after going through a platforming section, you fight Knuckleectic, a giant sentient head and hand sculpture inspired by the Olmec civilization sculptures. Take control of his fist and slam it back into his face. It's a good time. After defeating him, you get a multi-moon, but Bowser already took the binding band, the giant ring. The other moons in Sand Kingdom are quite fun. I love replaying Sand Kingdom as chunks of platforming are entirely skippable with some creative movement. Somehow they made the desert theme unique, and this kingdom is one of the bigger ones with the second most amount of moons. There are just so many, and it can be daunting to 100% this kingdom, but a cool theme with plenty of great moons, so Sand Kingdom is a wonderful time. After Sand Kingdom, you get a choice of which kingdom to do next, Wooded Kingdom or Lake Kingdom. Whichever you do first doesn't matter. Wood Kingdom starts off quite quaint. You're surrounded by trees and rundown robots. The main area of Wooded Kingdom is behind the Sphinx, who appears multiple times throughout the game, asking questions. After answering his riddle, he grants you access to the rest of Wooded Kingdom, which is a steampunk playground. A big ol' industrial area in the woods with moving platforms, even more opportunities to skip segments. After making your way through this kingdom, you run into another Broodal, Spewart. Spewart spews out this poison goop all around him, and you can use Cappy to clear it out a path to him. Bop him on the head. After stopping Spewart, you then head further to the kingdom until you reach the second boss, this UFO thing. This thing is stealing flowers from Wooded Kingdom for Bowser's wedding, of course. Using the onion things, you bash him from underneath and avoid his lasers. It's not as good as many other fights, but it's still mostly fine. And that's Wooded Kingdom. It's pretty sizable with a lot to see and do. The theme is quite fun and there are a ton of great captures here. Lake Kingdom is a fairly small kingdom. It is the first water kingdom. Here you fight the other brutal Rango. He throws his hat and you have to hit it and bounce off of it to hit his head. That's basically it for Lake Kingdom. It's very nice aesthetically, however it's quite small with just a small interest area and most of it being a lake. It's a decent kingdom, but not a memorable one to me. I don't dislike this one, but I'm never like,
just finished up Sand Kingdom, where can I go next? Oh my god, I can go to Lake Kingdom? What it?
Cloud Kingdom is a boss fight level. You just fight Bowser. It's a simple fight. He throws his hat at you, stun it with Cappy, slap it on and beat the shit out of him. There really isn't much to this kingdom. There's a couple of moons, but this is more so a boss fight kingdom. It's a shame. It's an original creative theme. The next kingdom is Lost Kingdom, a small group of islands sprawling with wigglers and these flying dudes. The Odyssey takes damage here and thus needs more moons to be fixed, but upon arrival, Cappy is stolen by Klepto. Thus, you have to get Cappy back before leaving the kingdom. But that, it's more than possible to get all the moons in this kingdom without Cappy, and it's a fun challenge. You do need to get Cappy back before you can finish this kingdom, but it's still a fun challenge to try and get all the moons without him. But yeah, this one feels more so like a filler kingdom. There's no boss and really no story besides getting Cappy back. It's still a quality kingdom with an interesting theme though. Metro Kingdom is up next, and it's a sprawling metropolis with a ton of buildings to climb around on and explore. But upon arrival, it's dark and stormy. Here, Bowser is fueling up his ship with power moons, and Mario has to make his way through the city to City Hall, where he must escalate the tower and then face the boss on top, Mecha Wiggler. And this boss sucks. It just takes a while to beat him, and he's just not really that fun. But after defeating Mecha Wiggler, Mario can freely explore the sun-soaked metropolis, and man, this is such a wonderful kingdom. You can swing on traffic lights, the walk lights double as question mark blocks, you can capture these things and use it to fling you across the city. And then there's the fact that this kingdom is also a reference to the adventure that started it all, Donkey Kong. The city's name is New Donk City, and all around there's scaffolding that is seen in the original. And the city's mayor is Pauline, who is actually who Mario saves in Donkey Kong. After stopping Mecha Wiggler, Pauline has Mario gather a band and restore power to the city, and then my favorite segment of the game happens. A giant concert with the game's original song, Jump Up Superstar. Mario goes through a 2D segment that's a huge homage to Donkey Kong, and then gets to go on stage at the ends. And the song is just so good, nothing but pure joy. Metro Kingdom is wonderful, definitely one of my favorites. It has a lot to see and do, and man, the concert is just so damn good. After Metro, there's another choice, Snow and Seaside Kingdom. Upon arrival in Snow Kingdom, the kingdom is suffering from a blizzard, and Bowser is here for a cake, how delicious. Find your way into the underground civilization of Shiveria, and from there, you have to clear 4 different sub-areas to open another entrance down to the racetrack. And in one of the entrances, you face Rango again. After clearing all 4 areas, you then get access to the racetrack. These citizens of Shiveria are just giant balls and race by bouncing it around. But this one doesn't want to race, so you capture him and race ass him. And man, this race is a bit tricky to get the hang of. You have to bounce at the right moment and at the right angle. It's tricky, and one of the things that's brought up in a video essay about how Odyssey is low-key bad. Snow Kingdom is pretty solid, the sub-areas are all pretty fun, and the race is challenging, but in a fun way. Seaside Kingdom. Oh man, this is my happy place. This place is gorgeous. A beach with a glorious sea. And there's a giant-ass cup in the middle. The story chunk here is refilling the cup. There are corks in these fountains and you have to destroy them. And once all the corks are destroyed, you fight this giant octopus dude. I must say, I do hate this boss. You have to use these water shooting things and fly above the boss and spray down on him. The tricky part comes from the fact that this thing can run out of water. But besides that, this kingdom is damn near perfect. It's huge with just so damn much to see. This is my favorite kingdom in the game. Luncheon Kingdom is next. This one is a food theme, which is so fun. You roll on corn, gather nuts to put in soup, destroy cheese as Koopas. But to begin with, you fight Spirit again. Then you make your way through the kingdom, across the Pepto-Bismol lake, and get up to this piece of meat which you capture. The twitching gets the attention of Cockatiel, a bird who cooks. She takes you up to her giant cooking pot where you can get a multi-moon, but then she knocks you back off and you have to ascend the mountain again and then fight her. And it's a fun fight. You use one of these lava balls and travel through her vomit to attack her. Besides the story, Luncheon Kingdom is quite a good time. The kingdom looks gorgeous with a ton of colors and a fun theme. Ruined Kingdom, like Cloud Kingdom, is a small kingdom that's meant for a boss fight. Here, you fight a dragon.
What?
Yeah, this does not look like it's from Mario, but man, this is an awesome fight. After avoiding the energy saws the dragon sends out and the energy waves, you jump on his head, use Cappy to remove these golden things on his head until Bowser's thing breaks, and then ground pound his head. It's a strange fight, but it's awesome to see from a Mario game, and the kingdom has a very interesting vibe to it. Like Cloud Kingdom, it's a shame that it's only a boss fight kingdom. Bowser's Kingdom is the most linear kingdom in the game. It's quite a fun time though. You go Sky Island to Sky Island, traversing this Chinatown-esque kingdom with fireworks and banger music. It's a really fun gauntlet with a gorgeous look. You fight the other two Brutals again, and then you fight the Brutals in a giant mech. The mech has metal armor, and you have to use this bird thing to knock bombs back at it to destroy the armor. Then ground pound on each of the Brutals' cockpit, and the thing will fall. Bowser's Kingdom is interestingly linear and not necessarily a standout, but it's still fun. And the last main kingdom is the Moon Kingdom. As I mentioned earlier, the Moon Kingdom has lower gravity, and just the fact that Mario is on the moon is just pretty crazy. Bowser is having his wedding in the chapel on top, but to reach it, you have to go through the Moon Cave, a giant gauntlet that ends with a rematch against Madame Brood. And once you get in the chapel, Bowser is trying to force Peach to marry her. But then the ground collapses and it's final boss time. The fight is the same as Cloud Kingdom, which is quite lame. But then after the fight, you get to capture Bowser and escape the inside of the moon with him. Playing as Bowser is just so much damn fun, and it's an amazing way to end the game. Mario and Peach make it onto an electrical line thing that's similar to what took Mario to Cascade Kingdom at the beginning of his adventure. Mario and Peach zoom away as the inside of the moon collapses. On the surface of the moon, Mario and Bowser pathetically compete for Peach's love, in which she snaps and leaves on her own. But at the last second, Mario heads off with her as it takes us into the game's credits. In the post-game, there are a couple more kingdoms unlocked, and each kingdom has more moons added. And there's already a lot to do, like getting all the outfits, collecting purple coins, and more. It's a long, daunting journey, but in the end, it feels incredible to have 100%ed it.
Super Mario Odyssey is among my favorite games of all time. It is just so damn good. It just never gets old because you can always forge your own path through the game. On subsequent playthroughs, you can just entirely skip the story sections or just go for different moons. There's just so many ways you can go about beating the game. The game is just so polished, and after years of generic games, it's just exactly the step that Mario needed. Odyssey was released 5 years ago today on October 27, 2017, 7 months after Breath of the Wild released along with the Switch's launch. And I have to say, these are just two amazing games to start off the console's life with. I've heard a lot of people say that they actually prefer Mario to Zelda, but in the case of Breath of the Wild and Odyssey, they prefer Breath of the Wild to Odyssey, but I'm the opposite. I prefer Zelda to Mario, but I prefer Odyssey to Breath of the Wild. It's just simple Mario fun, and I just can't imagine a world where it doesn't exist. What the hell? Ugh. Hey, come with me and everything will be alright. No! You tried to kill me and I don't like that.
Nicus, get in. We need you.
No! Come with me!
Listen, they're being nice to me. Super Mario Odyssey, huh? Boss will probably want to see this.
Well, thank you for helping me. That guy was a creep.
Well, we mainly helped because we needed you.
Why?
There's a prophecy about a straggler who unexpectedly crosses over and then brings down our Nintendo.
Why'd I bring down Nintendo? They make awesome games.
Only games they made for the last 10 years are, new Super Mario Bros. Games.
Holy shit. Hey, Mr. Circuit, sir. We had another straggler. He had this on him. Give me that. Everything okay, boss?
This boy is from a universe where they made a new 3D Mario game.
Whoa! That seems cool.
What? Sounds cool?
Well, I think the 2D games are fun and all, but I think the 3D games show so much creativity and are just so much fun.
It would be great if you got out of here right now.
What? No! What's wrong with creativity?
Things used to be like how they are for you. We were living in a Mario renaissance. On Nintendo's home consoles, they were publishing amazing 3D Mario games that showed a ton of creativity. Then on the handhelds, they made 2D games that were still a ton of fun. But then they made New Super Mario Bros. Wii, and that's when everything went downhill. The game was a huge commercial and critical success, and thus Nintendo ended all other series and instead focused on just New Super Mario Bros. And since then, it's all we've gotten from them. But there's been a prophecy
that a straggler from another universe will bring with him a fantastic 3D Mario game, and bring the current Nintendo to its downfall. And that is you. Cool story, but your cute little prophecy is wrong. About me, that's not me. What? Listen, I just want to go home, and I have my game. Where's my game?
I'm pretty sure you dropped it. I think I saw a Mario game on the ground when I was saving you.
What? No. So now you will help us to get your game back. No! I'm getting my game back and leaving. But how will you, without our help? Has anyone ever tried something called asking nicely? Hi. You guys have my game and I was wondering if I can have it back because I want to go home.
If you don't leave the premises within 20 seconds, you will be killed.
Oh, okay, so maybe we won't get in there by asking politely. How are we going to get into their headquarters now? I can help with that. Whoa! What is he doing here? He's the one who tried to kill me and stole my game! No, I don't want you to speak!
Nicus, stop. Let him speak.
Thank you, Hugh. Listen, I know I seem like the bad guy, but I've realized that Nintendo is evil. I did take your game and I gave it to my boss, Sukin. And he told me that it's a Mario game in 3D, which we haven't done in forever. I realized we were making lazy games, and that's not the company that I once worked for. I want to help turn this Nintendo back into a great company, and I want to help you. Okay, so how can you help? Well, I still have access to the building, so you guys can go in, you can get your game back, and you can stop Sukin too. You mean I can get back my game, and you guys can stop Sukin? Great, sounds like a plan. Some hero you are! You were supposed to help us! We were counting on you! Guys, I'm sorry, but I don't care. Hey, Nicus, can we go talk somewhere? Sure. Hey, boss, you won't believe this. The straggler, he came to our doorstep and asked for our game back. What a loser. If all he wants is his game, we can use that to our advantage. We don't need anything from it. He's working with those rebels, so we can use that to our advantage and stomp out the little regime once and for all.
So, what's up? I wanted to talk to you about the prophecy. Whether you believe in it or not, we need your help. Yeah, I mean, part of me wants to help, but the other part of me is just like, why? I understand that. Well, can you imagine living in our world, a world where Nintendo makes nothing but lazy games?
No.
Well, I mean, actually think about it. About 5 to 10 years ago, that's actually how things were. Nintendo was still making good Mario games, but they just weren't revolutionary at all, and in general, they just seemed to be making lazy, simple games. Well, what happened? Well, I mean, 5 years later, they released a new home console, the Nintendo Switch, and with it, there was some Zelda games and Mario games and some new franchises, and other franchises have been continued. Metroid got a new game, Kirby got a ton of new games, and overall, it just seems like they've actually been trying. But you remember what it felt like when they were lazy. Hope seemed lost. A once great company seemingly lost their way. Yeah, I mean, it sucks. Guess I just never really thought that that's how you guys have to live every day. I just hope that when the time comes to make a choice, you just remember what we talked about.
Attention, Nicus. This is the Grand Overlord Sukin, and we have your game at our Nintendo headquarters. We also have your rebellious friends too, but if you want your game and want to go back home, I advise you come here right now.
They have Hugh and Koo and my game, so we need to go immediately.
Nicus, welcome, my friends. I want to apologize for the whole misunderstanding. We didn't want to take your game away from you, and we just want to help you home. Here, come with me. Stop, Grukin. You're staying right here. Nicus, remember what we talked about.
So, Mr. Nicus, you want to tell me what this Nintendo Switch thing is? I'm actually pretty curious about it.
Well, it's a home console handheld hybrid. You can play all your games on your TV at home and on the go.
That's cool. We really get stragglers from other universes, so I love finding out what other than Nintendo's are doing.
Well, here's your way home. It's a one-way trip, so you'll never have to worry about accidentally coming here again. Again, I want to apologize for any mix-ups. It's all good. It's all... Okay, listen, I can take care of Sukin in my own universe. Can you guys handle it here? Yeah, we can handle him.
Nicus, thank you. I always believe in you. I knew I shouldn't have trusted you, but it's no matter. I'm gonna take over this universe of Nintendo, and I'll make sure they make nothing but lazy games. No. Because I'm fortunate enough to live in a universe where Nintendo isn't afraid to make a good game from time to time.